Now that we've talked about area of a variety of figures, now I want to take the time to talk about what a sector is. Now, just like I normally do in class, I have a Sturgell definition and I have a picture to demonstrate it. A sector to me is like a slice of pizza. It's not quite a triangle, it's a section of a circle. In fact, the geometric definition of a sector is the region of a circle bounded by a central angle. Remember, we talked about that before where my mouse is moving. It's the central angle and its intercepted arc. As a quick refresh as well, remember that the intercepted arc and the central angle share the same measure. Now, when going to find the area of a sector, there are two things you can look for. The first thing is we can look at a ratio that is true. We can take a look that the area of the sector over the area of the circle is the same thing as the central angle, or the intercepted arc, depending on which one you're given, over 360. Now I highlighted this portion because that represents the fraction of the circle. For instance, if I have a 90-degree angle in a circle, remember that's a quarter of a circle, or 1/4 of a circle. With that in mind, you could use this formula, or you can just find the fraction of the circle's area, especially if no angle is given. Going back to my original picture, I have a full pizza, and I have 8 slices. So each slice is an eighth of the pizza. So if I were to find the area of the pizza, I could just divide it by 8 if all the slices were the same. And that would give me the measure of the sector. We're going to work through one example together, and then I'm going to actually solve it both ways, and then I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to pause the video and let you try a few examples, because once I show you the kind of concept that's here, it's really similar to the arc length formula that we did before, so I think after just showing one example, you should be able to practice several. So tomorrow in class, I want to see the 6 examples I show on the next screen completed. So, the problem states, your mom bakes a 14-inch cherry pie, and just as a reminder, the 14 inches refers to the diameter, for your family that is cut into 6 slices, and I have a picture to represent that. You love to coat the entire slice of the pie with whipped cream. I mean, who doesn't? What is the area of the whipped cream if you eat just one slice? Now, I'm going to first solve it the way where I use the equation. Now, there are 6 slices, so that means each central angle is 60 degrees. If you're wondering how I got that, I just took 360 divided by 6. So, how I would solve that question is I would do area of the sector, they use capital A as the variable to represent area, over 7 squared. 7 because remember, 14 was the diameter, that leaves 7 to be the radius, squared times pi equals 60 over 360. Just like with any proportion, I want to cross multiply. So I multiplied 360 times A, I have that over here. And then I did 60 times 7 squared, which is 49, times pi. And I know that when I multiply those 3, the next thing I need to do is divide it by 360 to get my answer. And I come up with 25 and 66 inches squared. Now for this problem, because we weren't really given a central angle, I think it's easier just to look at the problem as 1/6 of the area, or the area divided by 6, and you can come up with 25 and 66 inches squared. Now, in this particular problem, I think that the second way is simpler because we weren't given a central angle or an intercepted arc. Now, the questions that I'm going to have you try on your own don't really give you that option. Now, these 6 questions are in your textbook, so if you have a hard time reading the numbers, it's on page 801. And it does say in the directions you want to round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So tomorrow, when you come into class, what you're doing is you're finding the shaded area, and keep that in mind. Take a look at 22 and 23. 22 and 23, the angle they're given is not the shaded sector, so you need to find what is the shaded sector. In class tomorrow, after we do the warm-up, we are going to talk about each of these 6 questions. Now, because we are given an angle this time, it's an opportunity to try the actual proportional formula. However, if you're clever enough to figure out what fraction of the circle that is, then you can feel free to use that as well.